also like to recognize new council members, Daniel Impala, Tanya Green, Tina Natali, and Ashley McCarthy. So welcome. And also, there were a few incumbents who just decided not to run again this year. Those were Ralph Rocky, Phil Frateroli, and George Mendoza, all of which have provided at least a decade of total combined service to the neighborhood council. This isn't something that you get bravely reviewed about in the neighborhood all the time, and you're not always met with open arms, but it's certainly something that we take pride in, and we enjoy sitting on the council, and I know they did as well, so I want to thank them for the years that they put into this council. All right, just a couple other things. As you know, Mirabella is opening this weekend, so get your pass if you want that. Saturday is the main opening. The tall ships are arriving. I bring that up because you'll note that there's a lot of different street closures and other things that you should be aware of as you go around this weekend, so just be cognizant of those. There's a construction meeting here at the Nazaro this Thursday at 6 o'clock. There's also Stephen Passatilli's event at Filippo's from 6 to 8, North End, the resident running for city councilor. So those two things are going on. And with that, I should conclude my report. Yes. I'm sorry? Oh, that's right. The 21st is the ward precinct. Yes, that's next week. Or yes, next week.
Yes.
So be sure to mark that on the calendar as well. Now to the committee reports. If I can ask Danielle to discuss resident parking and traffic.
Like John said, the Connect Historic Boston construction is still ongoing. There's a lot of concern with what's going on with the sidewalk demolition on Atlantic and Commercial. So there's going to be a meeting here on Thursday, this Thursday the 15th from 6 to 8 with city officials present, including the mayor. So I suggest if you have any questions or concerns to definitely attend that. You can go to the boston.gov website for more weekly information. And then there's going to be some closures with the tall ships, and you can go to sailboston.com/events for any of that information.
Thank you. And Sean Hennessy also is absent tonight, so I'll be conducting his report, provided me with highlights from the meeting. In May of last year, there was one robbery, one aggravated assault, one B&E, 4 larceny, 3 larceny from a motor vehicle. This past month, we saw a robbery that took place at the intersection of Hanover and Commercial, where a man asked for light for a cigarette and got hit in the head by 2 assailants who then took off. They were both arrested. There was also an assault at Cooper and North Margin. There was a wallet and cell phone that were taken from Florentine. On 190 North Street, a man entered the building through a sliding glass door. He was picked up and charged with breaking and entering. There was jewelry reported missing from the Mercantile building. A bike was stolen from Unity Street. There was a package stolen from the steps of 66 North Margin. This isn't an uncommon occurrence, so just be sure that you're looking out for your neighbors and taking packages in to the extent that you can, and making sure that you're looking at suspicious behavior in that regard. There was a car break-in and registration was taken on guard in court. A guy, this is what he said, there was a drunk individual that jumped on the roof of the taxi. He was charged with vandalism. It's been an exciting month of May, apparently. Golf clubs were stolen out of a car on 25 Clark. And there was a few arrests, one on 263 Hanover, where a man had 3 warrants that they picked up. And there was also someone on 386 Commercial arrested by the drug unit for possession with intent to distribute. There's a few other highlights, but I think that notes a couple tall ships and just about people that are coming, so that there's a lot of over 1 million people expected, so just be on a little bit higher alert than you would normally, because with increased people comes increased problems a lot of times. And now onto the one report that I get to do, because I'm actually on the committee, is the Greenway. You might have noticed the zip line that's open, the Z, that's over there on the old parcel that used to have the writing along the fence. But that's open from all day, certain times, different days, but it's $8 a ride, and you certainly take part in that. The Trillium Garden, which is the beer garden, that's also open. That's down a little bit more, closer to Rose Wharf, but that's open as well. You might have noticed the Rinks Fountain is in repair. There's a lot of issues surrounding that, but they've been pretty diligent trying to get that open, and hopefully it will be soon. But there's with those fountains comes a lot of yearly repairs, and so that unfortunately it has to be closed in order to do those, and they're in the procedure of doing that now. A quick note about the lease and funding that's always seems to be a topic in the news. The statement from the Greenway is that there have been productive conversations that continue with the state and other stakeholders about putting the Greenway on a stable, long-term footing. The Greenway is an asset for economic growth and a destination for Massachusetts residents and visitors. We remain confident of a shared resolution that is good for the park and for the public. And I think the Greenway, the zip line is one example of that, where we're trying to get revenue and we ask for the MassDOT funds for convention, but that's their official statement. Of course, you can check out rosekennedygreenway.org for the rest of the season schedule and any other information. And the next board meeting is on June 27th at the building, the MassDOT building down in Chinatown. All right, so with that said, I'll turn to the offices of local elected officials.
This Thursday is the North End Construction Update Meeting, starting at 6 o'clock here at the Mazzaro. And so every single construction project that is going on currently or will be kicking off in the near future will be there. So there'll be representatives from Connect Historic Boston, North Square Reconstruction, Boston Water and Sewer, the utility companies, and the Public Works Department. It's from 6 to 7:30 here at the Mazzaro, so we hope to see you there. Imagine Boston 2030 has released its final draft, and I know you had draft a lot, but this is really the last one. And so if you wanted to take a look at the draft and read through it and see some of the plans that we've come up with all the feedback from Boston residents, please go to imagine.boston.gov/imaginebostonplan. Also, coming up in a couple weeks, Tuesday, June 20th, the Mayor, Mont J. Walsh, and Superintendent Chami Chang, along with the Boston Public Schools and Public Facilities Department, will be groundbreaking the Elliott School's 585 Commercial Street building. So that'll take place Tuesday, June 20th at 11 o'clock at 585 Commercial Street and behind the school. So if you want to come check that out, we'd be happy to see you. And then just to touch back on Sail Boston, so the biggest impact day for all that waterfront community is Saturday, June 17th. And so general knowledge, we have a couple of sighting locations in the neighborhood. And so those will be Paul Below Park, Christopher Columbus Park, which you'll hear from in a little while, and then some of the wharf staging areas will be high security. So while you plan on attending it in this neighborhood, there are a list of prohibited items, and you can find this on sailboston.gov. And if you go to sailboston.com, if you go to boston.gov, it's actually the first bar on our city website right now that has the list. But a couple of things that you can't bring, just as an FYI: coolers on wheels, backpacks, firearms, weapons, objects, and fireworks, glass containers, cans, pre-mixed beverages, grills, propane tanks. Some of these are obvious, but some of them aren't. Pop-up tents, bicycles, wagons, pets, except for service animals and drones. But feel free to bring blankets, folding tables and beach chairs, coolers that are carried on a shoulder strap, baby strollers, diaper bags, umbrellas, and glass baby bottles are allowed. Some of the parking restrictions, so there will be no parking from midnight, June 17th to 5 p.m. on Commercial from Hanover Street to Atlantic Avenue. There will be handicap parking from Commercial Street, so from Jackson Ave to Hanover Street, there will be authorized handicap parking. No parking at Battery Wharf at Commercial Street, Battery Street, Union Wharf at Commercial Street, Eastern Avenue at Commercial Street, and Lewis Wharf at Atlantic Ave. Pedestrian entrances and exits will be at Popolo Park, Battery Wharf, Sergeant's Wharf, Commercial Street. Bicycle parking will be at Popolo Park. And then ride share and drop off and pickup will be Commercial Street between Foster and Jackson Ave. So just keeping these things in mind. Obviously, this is the first Tall Ships event we've had since 2009, and it's actually the only U.S. stop for the tall ship extravaganza this year, so we are expecting a lot of people. Some of the street closures may change during the day. Vehicular traffic will be open, but if BPD finds it necessary to shut it down due to the volume of people, we have to be able to willingly accept it and kind of work around it.
Where is Jackson Street?
Jackson has a very small street in between like Foster Street and like Cobb's Hill. You know what Cobb's Hill Terrace is?
Oh, yeah.
So that little alley that has those stairs, that's Jackson Avenue.
So that's a drop-off place?
Well, no, so in between Jackson Avenue and Foster Street, there'll be like a couple of spaces for rideshare drop-off.
That's it, though? the-
Yes, so for
the street.
For the street, yes, just for that day until 5 o'clock p.m.
Do you know if so we have a lot of baseball happening on Friday night, is that gonna be impacted at all by the?
No, everything starts at midnight, so
Oh,
Friday night,
okay.
midnight, 12 o'clock a.m. Saturday. Alright. That's all I have.
Thank you, Maria. Representative Mayor Michael, which is up?
Hey guys, just an event announcement. Since 2009, Aaron's been hosting a Little League tournament of sorts, north to south. It's the north end of the League All-Stars versus the south end of the League All-Stars. We play one game in the south end, one game in the north end. So this year, the first game is going to be Sunday, June 25th at 5:30 in the south end at Louis Tiant Field at Peters Park. So if you guys are available, come support the North End All-Stars. And then the second game will be Wednesday, June 28th, I believe, at Lingo and the Little Field down here at 6 o'clock. So if you're around, there'll be pizza, refreshments, and good baseball.
So the Boston City Council is working very hard on our City of Boston budget right now. Our budget vote, our final vote will be on June 28th. And Councilor Salvi George, a lot of you guys know she chairs the Committee on Homelessness, Mental Health, and Recovery. And one of her big priorities has been the 4,000 kids who go to Boston Public Schools that are currently homeless. She's been so excited and really grateful to the mayor because he's allocated $1.2 million of school-based supports to provide additional assistance to these kids. Yeah, 4,000 homeless kids. Oh, it's crazy high, and the problem actually is that it's probably an underestimate. So it's definitely a huge problem. So she's been working on that. Her other major budget priority, a lot of us know that the recovery and substance use, the city of Boston is really on the forefront and bearing the brunt of that burden. Something that the councilor's been working on is the fact that we can find needles in all of our parks all over the city. Today, actually, she went on a ride-along with the Mobile Sharks team, which is this small team of people who go all over the city of Boston and they pick up these needles. Last year, they picked up about 20,000 improperly discarded hypodermic needles. So one of her major budget asks, and we're hoping that this gets put in before the end of the budget, is to double the size of that team from 2 to 4. She's also working with the Boston Police Department to double the size of their BEST team. These are clinical psychologists who ride along with police officers to support when police are called in to help people who are experiencing a mental health crisis. So she's working on those issues. Not always sunshine and rainbows, but I do know that she's really happy to be working with the North End, and it sounds exciting, all these cool baseball games. She certainly spends a lot of time with her kids playing baseball over at Savin Hill Little League, so I'm sure she'll try to make it over here for some of these games. But if you guys see her and you have anything cooking in the North End, please let her know. We are meeting with ADCO, so the Association of Downtown Community Organizations, about the Airbnb problem. And I know everyone's really lobbying behind Brett Michaelwitz and all of his legislation, so we're excited to meet with you guys and support on that. So that's the stuff going on with us.
Great.